we can find.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of, trying to stay organized, trying to see, how can we improve, where to start. That's kind of like the big, roadblock I find for most of us. And I include myself in that as well,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing is what happens when you don't have structure a lot of times is you wind up getting really frustrated, you feel like you're getting burned out, or you just reach a plateau and you don't feel like you're getting past there. Okay. And as awesome as YouTube is, and believe me, if there's somebody on here right now that's like, man, YouTube is the greatest thing ever. It's helped me learn how to play and become exactly who I want. I think that's amazing. It just doesn't always work that way. So, if you feel like you're scattered or you feel like you're all over the place or you just don't have a real study game plan, that's the problem is it feels like you're just spinning your wheels all the time. So we always tell people, the most important thing is to start off understanding that you need clarity, you need structure, and then if available to you, you need support. Like once you've got that structure, you've got a game plan, you know what you're trying to do, you know what you need to be able to get there, and then being able to have the support to be able to reach the place where you want to go. So, Luca, do you have anything further on that?
Well, I think that basically, we all need kind of like a roadmap, and the roadmap basically starts from where are we now in our playing and where do we want to go, right? So, having a clear goal, sometimes it's not that simple because we don't know what we don't know, basically.
Yeah,
So,
that's huge.
so, helping people kind of like getting that clarity, I think
Mhm.
that's the very first step. And then, well, building a roadmap. Once we know where we want to go, at least we've got kind of like our North Star, right?
Mhm.
And from there we can start building that roadmap, those little block by block steps that, will eventually get us to that goal. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
guidance is a big thing. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's perfect, Luca. And think about it. Like clarity for me means you know where you are, you know where you're going, and you know what you need to actually get there. That's what clarity really is. Is not just, oh, I want to be better at this or I want to be a better guitar player, but actually defining these goals. Like I want to be able to improvise, or I want to be able to play songs faster and more accurately, or I mean, it could be a million different things, but or I'm a rock guy and I want to try and develop my technique more. But understanding what that goal is, having the clarity to know where you are, where you're going, and what you actually need to get there. Okay. For me, clarity isn't about playing faster, it's about playing smarter. Okay. Clearing out things that aren't necessary right now, clearing those things off the board and making a real game plan of what is most needed to be able to make the most progress. So playing smarter, playing with confidence. Here's something I want everybody to do if you've got a pen and a piece of paper around, okay? I want you to do this. I want you to write down the three main things that you're practicing right now. And you might even put that in the chat for Luca. The three main things that you're practicing right now.
Yeah, and Kelly just commented in the chat, I need to know what to practice. And
Yeah.
that is absolutely, crucial. And
Yeah.
not only what to practice, but how to practice. That's another big part of it.
That's exactly it. That's right. So if you can write down the three main things, not that you want to do, write down the three main things that you practice right now. Okay. When you grab your guitar each day, and hopefully you're grabbing your guitar each day because that's half the battle, right? And that's another thing is just staying motivated, like being motivated to get the work done. If you feel like you're on a plateau or you feel like you're confused, it's very easy to talk yourself out of actually practicing because it just kind of sucks. It feels like you're just not really getting anywhere. So write those down. If you've got anything, okay? Scott says triads, arpeggios, and melodic techniques. That's good. Don says chords, finger picking, and new songs. That's good. Colin's got cage, scales, basics. Okay, this is good. Okay, Bob has got left hand accuracy, right hand picking, my right hand index finger scale strings as I strum pick fretboard knowledge. This is great. Okay.
Yeah,
Patrick's
absolutely.
got practicing scales, learning my favorite solos and verses of 80s rock. Perfect. So here's what I want you to think about with these three main things, whether you're writing them down, whether you're putting them in the chat, or whether you're just thinking about them. Do they connect or are they random? And if they do connect, do they connect in a logical order, and what's missing, right? If you think about what Lucas said before, which I think is really, really powerful, is you don't know what you don't know. Okay. When you have a conversation, I think about when I go back to when I first started learning how to play pool. Now, don't get me wrong, I still suck at pool. Okay. But because I played in a band and I traveled all the time, you have to have something to do in your pastime. So we did golf and we did pool. And what I figured out was I could practice on my own all I wanted to, but the most important thing was I could get together with other people that played pool, and especially if they were better than me, they could tell me what it was I was doing wrong because I had no idea. Like, you got to hold the cue this way, or you got to think about trying to hit the ball over on this side, or whatever it might be, or use a little less pressure. So I often think that half the battle is having this game plan that Luca and I talked about. And the second thing is being able to get that accountability when you need it, being able to get that assessment of your playing and find out what it is that you might be lacking in. And you might not even be aware of it. Like, somebody might say to you, look, you really need to try and focus on this a little bit, or I see that you're struggling with this thing a little bit. Let's develop a game plan to try and fix that. Luca, do you have any insight on that?
Well, here's the thing. Many times, let's say we want to learn a song, whatever, right? So, um, well, the first step is like knowing the song really well. And by knowing it is, I mean, having listened to it like a million times. That's like step number one before even picking up the guitar. So then, okay, now I know the song, I know the structure, I know there's an intro, I know there's a verse, I know there's a chorus, and so on and so forth. I can see the structure. So what's the next step? Well, do I know the chords to that song? Can I actually play them, physically? Can I perform them on the guitar? Next step, can I move from one chord to the next? So kind of like my point here is that there's always a logical process, in learning something new. And sometimes we just dive in, because, we just want to play the song. So we maybe look for some tabs or look for some videos on YouTube, and we kind of miss the fundamental part of what is learning, right? So I do think that it's very important to have a clear plan, a clear path, and just taking things step by step. The other thing is, well, we need to realize that this is something that does take some time and effort, So don't be too hard on yourselves, give yourself the chance to learn the things, step by step. So
Yeah.
yeah.
One thing I always tell people too is that there's a significant difference between having experienced something and having control of something, right? You have confidence and control in what you're doing. So it doesn't matter if it's a scale or a song, like Lucas said, or whatever it might be. If you go back in the recesses of your brain and you're like, oh, I remember doing that, or I've tried that, or I work on that sometimes, that's significantly different than developing it to a place of automation where you have complete control of what you're trying to do. Now, the guitar is so vast and there's so many things that you can work on. The question is, what are we putting value in? What is it that we should be putting our stock into? And sometimes we're putting it into the wrong thing. Like, we might be working, and again, don't get me wrong, if it's making you happy, you do you, okay? But if you're frustrated, you have to ask yourself, well, am I doing the right thing? Like, if I'm working on this and I'm working on this and I'm working on this, if those things aren't all leading to the bigger goals, even though they might be fun, or even though, somebody might have told you that's what you should be doing, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. I don't know. Okay. That's why we have conversations about this stuff. But the goal is to get to that place. So I think about how many people I talk to all the time that want to learn how to improvise. They want to play in a band. They want to be able to jam with other people, right? And in order to do that, you've got to develop automation in the skills that you need, not only technical, but psychological skills that you need to be able to play these things and develop confidence in yourself. So when you do get together with other people, you don't always feel like, you're condescending yourself and all that kind of stuff. You've got to gain that confidence. So hopefully that makes sense. Like, I always think about like information paralysis. Like, information, that's kind of what YouTube is to me, is it's everything. but there's no logical motion moving from this thing to this thing to this thing to this thing to get where you want to go. So think about this, guys. Ask yourself this. What's holding you back right now from doing the thing that you want to be able to do, right? Is it confusion? Is it a specific skill? What's holding you back from being able to play the way that you want to play? Okay? So what happens in the academy, just to talk a little bit about the academy, the first thing that happens in the academy is that you wind up having what we call a kickoff call with me. So you and I get together one-on-one and we talk about your struggles, your goals, okay? And what it is that you want to be able to do, where it is that you want to be able to go, that North Star, if you will. And then from there, we create a practice plan for you so you know exactly what it is that you're supposed to be doing, okay? So that's the first step, is getting you set up with structure. So you know what you're supposed to be doing. So every day you grab the guitar, you know what courses you're going to be working with, you know what instructors you're going to be working with, whatever these things are, which again, we'll talk more about inside the academy, but that's the plan, is trying to weed out the stuff that you don't really need right now and focus on the stuff that you do to get to where you want to go, okay? So step number one is having that kickoff call, which you and I do one-on-one together. Develop a practice routine, get you a practice log that you're going to fill out on a daily basis, and we're going to help you walk through that, okay? So that's the first thing we do. The second thing that we've got here that's really amazing to try and get you to where you want to go is, instead of doing like a one-on-one lesson where you see somebody for 30 minutes a week or something like that, it's Luke and myself, and there's 7 other instructors in here. We all work with you on a daily basis to get you where you want to go. Okay, so if you have questions, instead of waiting till Thursday's guitar lesson to have a conversation about whatever it is, and today is Monday, you just meet with us on Monday. We have a conversation. We give you that clarity. Make sure that your ship is upright, if you will, right? Make sure that you aren't confused, or if you need some assessment of your playing, whatever it might be, we have these opportunities. We call them open rooms, but they're of times during the day that you and us can get together and we can actually talk about where you are, what you're working on, how things are going that week. Luca, do you want to expand on that at all, or is that?
No, go ahead. I'm just reading, lots of questions here. Rick says, how do you get over being nervous in front of people?
Okay, and throw me these, Luca. These are great. So how do you get nervous? How do you get over being nervous? You develop that absolution. You develop that confidence.
Exactly.
You get over this world of comparison, because in the real world here, we're not comparing each other to each other. We're just doing the job, right? I'm doing the job the way I want to do it. And I can guarantee you that I play very different than Luca plays. And it's not a matter of who's better. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with when you need to do the job, can you do it with confidence? Can you do it with musicality, right? It's not just scales and modes and techniques and things like that, but when you play, can something musical come out of your fingertips, right? That's what you start. So again, this is the kind of stuff that we work on in the academy, is a very holistic approach to getting you from where you are to where you want to go. And we figured out you just can't really do that by randomizing. It's really tough to do by just watching videos, right? Or just having a lesson once in a while with somebody. And again, don't get me wrong. If it's working for you, God bless you. I think it's great. But if it's not working for you, that's the problem. What I would love to be able to do is, if you had a problem on Tuesday, or you had a question about something, you need some sort of clarity, you just reach out to me on Tuesday and we have a conversation. We get it figured out. So now you get back to work. So what I always tell people is, there's really 3 things I think about. Number one is that you have to know what it is that you're doing and why it is you're doing it, so you can reach that North Star. Number 2 is you got to do the work. Nothing happens magically. You can't learn how to play by having your guitar in the corner. So you need to be motivated, right? You need to be, you need to have that investment of time that you're willing to put in to get to where you want to go. I'm not saying it's 5 hours a day. It might be 20 minutes a day. I'm just saying it has to be something that you do on a daily basis. You're willing to get the job done. But the third part of that is that you've got to be able to have the support system in place. So when you do have those questions, or you do need those assessments, or you do need clarification on something, you just simply get it and you get back to work again. So that's really powerful for me.
Yeah, and the thing again, and please don't get me wrong. I mean, when I started playing, there was no such thing as internet or YouTube, and I wish there had been, because it's great to have all of that information. The
Mhm.
fact of the matter is that, what I always say, if you spend 30 hours of your week watching videos, you're probably going to get really good at watching videos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
So it is okay. You get the videos, but you got to put the work in. And the other thing about the videos is that you really can't ask questions to a video. So
Yeah,
having someone who can, you can actually go to and ask your question, who's a professional instructor, a professional musician, who has been there where you've been. We've all been there. You don't have to feel alone. We've all been, in the same place. So, yeah, having someone who you can ask questions to is definitely a game changer, and it will save you tons of time. That's a
that's
big
right.
thing.
That's right. And just to stay motivated, like that's the big thing too, is to keep you on track so you are motivated. Your guitar becomes your best friend and you want to be able to pick that guitar up on a daily basis. And so that's the whole thing. The other thing that we give you too inside the academy is what we call the studio instructor. And this person's job is to kind of be like your personal coach, where they check in on you every Monday. They look at your practice log, see how you're doing. See if you've been keeping up on your practice log, like writing down what did you work on that day? What videos did you watch? What instructors did you talk to? What frustrations did you have? They check in with you each week to make sure that everything is going exactly where it needs to go. So the more proactive we are, the less you can fail, right? What we don't want to have happen is all of a sudden somebody's in the academy and we haven't heard from them for 3 weeks because they've fallen off a cliff. Like, we don't want that to happen. The most important thing is to be available whenever you need us, and have conversations, whether they're literally on a daily basis, literally meeting just like we're doing right now on a daily basis. And it's not just talking, it's actually playing. That's the great thing is that you can actually get assessment of your playing, whether you're sending in a video to us, whether we're actually talking to each other like we're doing right now. Any of those things, work to keep you where you're going. So
Yeah, and the other thing is that it's basically 8 of us in Academy. It's 8 instructors, and we all have different backgrounds. We all have, our fortes and our strong and our weak points. So many times, having more than one opinion, in regards to something specific. And it's, what I always say, the guitar is actually quite a recent instrument. So technically speaking, there's not just one way on how to do things. I mean, just think about right hand technique. I'd say there are probably as many right hand techniques as guitarists on the planet. Everybody plays a little differently. So sometimes you have to kind of find your own path, your own way. And we as instructors, are here to lay out, say, hey, this is what has worked for me. Try it out, see if that works for you. If it works, awesome. There's nothing wrong. So, I mean, if it's not broken, why should we fix it? But if we have something that we're struggling with, having someone giving you a different path or a different point of view, a different opinion might be super helpful, I think.
yeah. So if you think about it, the basic idea here is that we get you set up with a game plan. That's the first step. What are you supposed to practice? Okay, what courses would you interact with? We have live classes every day of the week. Which live classes would best fit you? And then we've got the interactivity that happens on a daily basis, not only with your studio instructor, but with any of us. So you'd be meeting with Luca, you'd be meeting with me, you'd be meeting with all these other instructors. Okay. All of these things are available to us. If you miss a class and you're interested in, like, oh, that was a great soloing class, I wish I would have gone to that class. Everything's recorded, so you can always watch it afterwards. But the big thing is just understanding if you feel like you're confused, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to get to your goals, you're not sure what you're supposed to be practicing, that's exactly what it is that we fix here. That's the whole thing. So you get set up with a discovery call, okay? Talk to somebody, see if the academy is right for you. Again, there's no obligation. You just see if this thing would fit you, okay? And then there's a link. If Luca, if you could post that link, that'd be great. So there's a
Yeah,
link.
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm posting it right now.
Perfect. Yeah,
Yep.
you could just click on the link. You could make a schedule a chat, and we can see if this is something that works for you, and we can go from there. So, um, but yeah, go ahead and throw us questions about anything. If you've got questions about stuff, the big thing I always think about the academy is it's almost like an ecosystem. I don't like to use the word like school because it sounds too schoolish, but it's almost like an ecosystem where you're just constantly engaging with other instructors, with other really positive students. We have a very small community here on purpose of people who are hyper motivated. They're willing to help each other out, okay, to keep each other on track. Everybody's moving their own, their own North Star, but everybody's excited for each other. So we can all move together to get you where you want to go, okay? So you're not scheduling things, you're not doing any of that kind of stuff. People have flexible, schedules. So sometimes you're not available on a Thursday and you've got more time on a Tuesday. That's what we try to build this thing to be set up as. So you're not just, seeing us once a week on a Wednesday at 3 p.m. or something. You're engaging constantly, literally on a daily basis. You are interacting to keep you where you want to go. So
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big game changers, that make, I think, the academy stand out from other programs. And I would say like the three main things are, I would say, personalized learning, number one. So that's kind of like what the kickoff call is exactly, to do an assessment to see where you are and you're playing right now. So, if you feel like you're too much of a beginner to start, that's not at all. I mean, this is for every level, basically, because that's exactly what the kickoff call is for, to do an assessment. Where are you in your playing? So that we can personalize your learning path. So that's one thing. The other thing is time flexibility. I think that's a big game changer as well. The fact that you have available hours, to ask your questions 6 days a week in different blocks. That makes it, I mean, super engaging. I mean, you get to meet people that have, the same issues or the same questions as you. And many times, one of these big things about the open rooms is that we're kind of like scared to ask questions because maybe we think that, it's a dumb question. What I always say, the only dumb question is the one that we don't ask, basically. Right? So sometimes, just hanging out with the other guys and listening to what other people are asking is going to give us answers to the questions. So personalization, time flexibility, and again, being able to have a contact with a real professional, a real human being, so that you're not alone. And I mean, you can get your questions answered at any time, basically.
yeah, and it's not an email or a chat or something. Like you're literally
Exactly.
talking. That's the whole thing. Is it's a real human experience. We're not just emailing back and forth trying to answer questions. We
So Don is
literally,
asking a great question, Steve. Sorry. He says, is the teaching live or pre-recorded?
the teaching is all live. Okay, there are guitar courses. Obviously, I've been making courses for years. We have guitar courses in there. Okay, and the goal is when you get on your kickoff call with me, we define which courses would best fit your path, right? Relative to your goals, your North Star, that sort of thing. So you're not just coming in here doing, 50 courses. That isn't what we're looking for. What we want to do is try and figure out what specifically would match your path. Okay. And then there's live stuff every day. There's availability to have live interactions with each other, which is the whole point. Okay. So like Don says, guitar lead fills scare me too much pressure. That's that confidence thing that we have to develop, and we can do that, interested in playing both electric and acoustic? Do you study both or one at a time? It would depend. Most of the time you can study both, but it depends on where you are and what your goals are. Okay. All of these things are going to make a difference. Let's see here. Changing chords fast enough. There's all kinds of things that we can do to fix. Guys, all these kinds of things that you're talking about, anything can be remedied. That's the most important thing is understanding things that you're trying to do. And that's what we do in that kickoff call is we spend an hour together just discussing what it is that you're trying to do, right? Where are you trying to get to? What is your dream on the guitar and what are you stuck in? And then we make a game plan. Okay. And then we start working toward that game plan over time between you and me and Luca and everybody else here through live classes, through live, what we call open rooms, like Luca had mentioned, open rooms, which are literally opportunities every single day, except Sundays. We don't work Sundays here. Every single day for you to jump into an open room, which is a Zoom call like this, and say, hey, Steve, I got a question about this. This is what you should do. Perfect. Thanks, man. I'm going to get back to work. Or Luca, hey, Luca, I got a question about this, or what would I do with this, or how do I do this, or does it look like I'm doing this correctly, or whatever. Get your answer, get the clarity that you need, and you get back to work again. Okay.
Yeah.
You decide along the way that you need, you're like, man, I'm really struggling with this modes thing. Then you book what we call a one-on-one on demand. You book a one-on-one call, jump in with an instructor and actually have a really deep conversation about that. Get you back, get your ship upright, and get you back to work again.
Yeah. So James is asking sometimes, or he's commenting rather, sometimes I don't know what my question would be. I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
And
exactly. That's the perfect thing, because it's exactly what this is about, is, as we said before, you don't know what you don't know. And so the problem is when you're working on your own and you do have these problems, these struggles, you don't know where to go to get the answer. So that's why I think of it almost like a ladder. What our game plan is we've got to figure out how to move from point A to point B to point C to point D to get you where you want to go. And it's much easier to be able to do that working together as opposed to just trying to do it on your own. Okay. And again, what I love, love, love about this academy is it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. If it's Thursday and you were working on something, whatever it might be, a song, a guitar course, a lick, a riff, a technique, and you've got a question or you have some confusion about it, you just jump in. And see, your studio instructor is the guy that's going to be helping you with this bigger picture of getting you from where you are to where you want to go. He's going to be the one that's going to keep interacting. You're going to want to get to know them. All these instructors you're going to want to get to know. But that studio instructor is really key for you because they're going to be the ones that's personalized. It's going to be looking at all of your information every week going, where's he at, right? Where's Chris at in his practice? What did his practice log look like last week? What are we doing this week? He'll reach out to you. What are we doing this week, Chris? What are you going to be working on? You got any problems? Is there anything we need to talk about this week? Yeah, I'm really struggling with X, Y, or Z. Okay, let's get together and let's have a conversation about that and get that cleared out so you know what you're doing. Perfect, thanks. And you move.
Here's another great question from Colin. He says, okay, can you select or request particular instructors that you have a vibe with?
You bet you can. Yeah, absolutely. That's like Luca was saying before. Everybody here, I love all of our instructors. They're great players. They're great teachers, but they're great guys, right? They're great humans. And you, once you're in the academy for a while, you may start gravitating toward this instructor a little bit or this instructor a little bit. That's great. That's exactly what should happen. Or maybe you just go to this instructor because it's Thursday and they have an open room that day and you want to talk to them. That's entirely up to you. It's all customized to what it is that you need. So there's not a generalized plan that, we just give everybody. Nobody's plan is the same. Not exactly. A single person here is the same. Everybody's is customized to exactly what it is that they're trying to do. And then we just help you and guide you and motivate you along the way. That's what the whole thing is. Make sure that you are getting there. And when you feel frustrated or you feel confused or you do have a question or you need direction, what's the next song I should learn, right? Whatever it is, it doesn't make any difference. You have a conversation, get you that answer, and get you moving forward.
Yeah. So Rick asks, how will we get to know them to determine which instructors you resonate with? So
right.
Basically, this is the way it works. On the kickoff call, right, we're going to know what it is that you want to do. Okay, so everything starts with your goal. So let's say I'm just an acoustic player, for example. So all of your plan, all of your path is going to be related to the acoustic guitar. So one of our instructors is, and I'm thinking about Miguel, he's an acoustic player. So obviously what we would try to do is fit you with the best instructor, right? That, matches what you want to learn. So that would be the first step. However, since the open rooms are held every day by a different instructor, you are free to join any of them so that you can see each of our learning style. So basically, just hopping into the open rooms and seeing the instructors, that's the way you get to know them. And so again, you're going to have your studio instructor, which is going to be the right fit for you at first, but then you also have all of the other instructors that you can just ask questions on or check their learning style, their teaching style, sorry.
Yeah. And just the opposite of that, we have somebody in here, he's an amazing shredder. His name is Manuel. So he would be a
Exactly.
great guy for your, like, if you're a shredder guy and that's what you're looking for, he would be a great student. And there's other ones too. But the thing to remember is it's not like Manuel can't play acoustic or doesn't know how to do things on acoustic or Miguel doesn't play electric. They all
Exactly.
do different things. It's just that there are specific elements that the reason they're here is because they're all a little different from each other. So it's setting you up with your studio instructor, which is kind of the hyper connection. And then everybody else is available all the time to help you with everything. So you can reach out to your studio instructor on a daily basis too. It's perfectly fine. Okay. A lot of these instructors, most of them actually are available more than one day a week. They're available multiple times throughout the week. And so we have a calendar set up where you see all the classes, you see when the open rooms are, what instructors are going to be in there. All of that stuff is sitting right there. So we're not emailing and texting back and forth. Everything is done right through the academy. All correspondence, everything that you need is all in one place. Okay. So let's see here. Sean says, I'm worried that I might be lying to myself about where I am with any given skill. When a member asks you to help them for work something, that thing's in the way. Something you tactfully suggest that they work on something else more foundational when they're not ready to move on. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Honesty is really, really important. Okay, getting assessments of your playing is really, really important. Digging up the cracks in your foundation, figuring out what's missing. If you say, oh, I would love to be able to play sweeps on the fretboard, but I can't put chords together, right? We have to be realistic. And this is why we have these conversations before you ever join the academy. We got to figure out whether or not this actually works for you. We got to figure out what the problem is, okay? And it's usually not that drastic between shredding and chords, but I'm just saying, like, oftentimes when you get someone that's struggling with playing songs, it's not necessarily because of any particular chords. It might be because of their strumming, or they don't understand song structure, right? Or they're not very good at their bar chords, or there's a million different things. And our job is to uncover those cracks in the foundation. Here's what we're missing. And being as kind as we can, but being truthful to each other. What you really need to work on right now, James, is this, or, Brad, this is what, as in watching you play, I can see that you're trying to do this too fast and you need to slow down a little bit. You need a little more technique in your third finger. Like your third finger looks like you're really struggling with that. I'd like to get you set up with some daily stuff that you could do to try and strengthen those fingers a little bit. It's all of that stuff, from really small micro elements to bigger picture aha moments where you go, oh my God, I never even thought about it that way. Like, that's a way easier way to approach this, right? So it can be very, very small and something very specific. And sometimes it's just general. Like, I have a class I teach on Wednesdays, and I'm always trying to get people to have aha moments. Like, that's the big thing for me. Is if I can get you to walk away going, gosh, I never even thought about it that way before. Like, that's really great. All of a sudden you're very motivated and you understand more about why you're trying to do what you're doing, not just exercises or something like that. So, yep, we as students need to leave our egos at the door and accept constructive criticism. That's exactly right. I am the first person on that list of criticism. I don't have any ego whatsoever, okay? I just love helping people. And the most important thing is being able to get that help and understand, yeah, I guess I never really recognized that I never developed this thing to an automated state. I just worked on it for a while, and then I went on to this, and then I went on to this, and then I went on to this. We got to go back here and look at this thing a little bit, iron this out. It's like clay. You got to craft it a little bit, figure out what's going on there. Okay, get it to a place where you're feeling good about it. Okay, maybe we take that off the table now, and now maybe we need to move this onto the table to get to that North Star. Now we're going to start working with this. We weren't working with that before because you weren't ready for that before, right? We have to be honest with each other to be able to get there. Okay?
Yeah, and the other thing is, I mean, guitar playing or any other musical instrument that's a lifelong journey, guys. That's every single day we learn things. I mean, I think one lifetime is not enough to just, get all out of it. So ego is kind of like, it's not even, something that we talk about basically, because it's just music is just humbling us all the time, you know? So yeah. How long does the academy last?
Well, the academy, it depends. That's why we have to have a conversation. We usually like to work with people for a year. It's hard to make progress in a month. I mean, there's only so far you can get, right? But it all depends. That's why we have to have a conversation. We like to set it up for an annual thing. And we've got students now that have been in here for a year that now decide, hey, I'm good. That was great. I got what I needed. Okay. Or they want to continue working with us, which a lot of them do. So that's again, that's why we have to have an actual conversation. Right now, we just want to give you kind of an overview of how everything works. So, guys, we'd love to work with you. I mean, if you're
Absolutely.
frustrated, yeah. If you're frustrated and you're like, I'm sick of it, like I really want to do this. I really want to learn how to play. Like I said, it's a financial commitment and it's a time commitment. It really is. If you're somebody who practices once a week, this isn't for you. If you're somebody that isn't really that excited about playing guitar in the first place, this isn't for you. YouTube is perfect for that. And it's free, right? That's a perfect thing. But if you're somebody who loves playing, has a passion for playing, and you have been spinning your wheels for a while and you're like, I just can't get anywhere. I bought courses and I took private lessons and I did this and I did that. And it's just, I'm not getting where I want to get to. That's exactly what this is for. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
James says I'm
And
frustrated. That's, and
yeah,
that's exactly what it is getting out of that frustration, right? I'm sure Luca's the same way. There's not a day that goes by I don't play guitar. I love playing guitar. But I love playing guitar even more when I can do the things I want to be able to do, right? It's like having a really good friend. That's the whole thing, is getting to that place where that frustration, it's not like you're never going to be frustrated. Of course you're going to get frustrated with your playing. It happens. But to be able to have a conversation and get that ship up right and go, okay. I'm going to get this. Got to back down a little bit, right? I got to stop chewing off so much of whatever that is. I got to break down this a little bit. Again, we have those conversations and figure it out. But that's what this is all about.
yeah, and I mean, not every day is the same. It's just like someday we wake up and we feel tired because with the guitar, it's exactly the same thing. Sometimes things just fall into place. Other times, it's just hard to get the guitar in tune. As simple as that. You
You
know.
know, on your kickoff call too, you and I would set up what I like to call a daily/weekly practice routine, which reflects on what Luke is talking about. So every day, if you've got the guitar for 20 or 30 minutes or something, you know exactly what you need to do to maintain/elevate. But it's nice to have a weekly practice routine too, where okay, on this day and this day and this day, I'm going to be working on creatives. On these days, I'm going to be working on fretboard and theory. On these days, I'm going to be working on some technique stuff, whatever it might be. Okay. Again, relative to your North Star, your interests, all that kind of stuff. But that way, like Luca was just saying, if you wake up and it's Thursday and you're like, I'm just not into the technique thing today. Like today, I'm just feeling like it should be a creative day. You understand how to readjust your schedule. I always tell people there's a big difference between being lazy and being smart, right? You're not being lazy. You're just listening to yourself going, today would be a great day to capitalize on this. Well, that's okay. You can move that schedule aside for the day to be able to, engage in whatever it is that you're feeling that day. That is way different than being lazy. Okay. But the difference is by this time, you've already got all the other stuff. We've already cleared all this out. So no matter what it is you work on, it's moving toward your goals. You see, that's the
Yeah,
important.
and the other thing, one of the great classes I think that happen in the academy is the structure and accountability class, which is, focused on not only what to practice, but how to practice, how you can be efficient with your time, how to build an effective practice routine that makes sense. Because sometimes, we're maybe studying whatever, the pentatonic scale in G, but then we look for a backing track in E flat. So, I mean, there's really no connection between one thing and the other. So, having a clear plan, having, again, a structure routine that makes sense with what it is that you're trying to do. So,
Mhm.
one of the things, one of the responsibilities of your studio instructor is actually to make sure that you guys are staying on track and you're not like all over the place. So sometimes that's even more important, than whatever it is that you're working on. Just, knowing, having that practice routine that makes sense.
Mhm. That's right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, guys, I'm going to put this back in there and put the link in there one more time. And again, this isn't any sort of obligation. It's just if you're interested in finding out more about this, you just simply have a conversation. Okay, that's all it is. You have a conversation. See if it's something that you want to pursue further, and we can go into actually having a conversation about this. Okay, so that's all this is. So again, as I said before, it's not for everybody. It's not. It's for those people that are really interested in trying to make a commitment and make a change in their playing. They want to reach these goals and they haven't been able to do that. Maybe it's been weeks or months or years that you've been working on this stuff and you're like, I'm just tired of it. I've got time now. I'm going to dedicate time to this thing. I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to become that guitar player that I want to be. That's the whole thing. Okay. There's no magic pill. There's no and I can't say there's no shortcut because the shortcut is understanding, right? The shortcut is a path. The shortcut is learning what is it that I need to do to get from here to there. That's what we do for you, right? So are there shortcuts? Heck yeah, there's all kinds of them relative to where you want to go. But the rest of it is you doing the work and interacting. Like we get there together, but we have to do it together. You've got to put in the work. Okay. It's our job to make sure that you're on track. It's our job to make sure you're working on the right things to get you where you want to go. So anyway, I don't want to talk your ear off. It's nice outside. I want to go hang out outside too. But anyway, guys, thank you for hanging out. It's been 45 minutes. I sure do appreciate your time. And I hope you check it out. It's GuitarZoom Academy is what it's called. You can always do a web search for it or something like that too, but we've got the link in here. And I'm telling you, at the very least, if you just had a conversation to see if it's something that would fit you, start there. And if it doesn't, that's totally fine. Okay. I hope you got something out of this today to try and organize yourself, even if the academy isn't something that you're interested in, something to try and get yourself organized a little bit. But if you're feeling like it's that time to just jump in and make a commitment with us and everybody else that's here, we're excited to work with you. So
Absolutely. Awesome. Jim says, great job. Already booked my call. Great,
awesome.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, I'm going to post the link once more. Feel free to check it out, guys. We're here for you. We're here to help you.
Yeah. Yeah. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful Sunday and hope to be hearing from you sometime in the near future. All right, guys? So take care. God bless.
Thanks. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for being
here. Thank you.
here.
Luca, thanks for taking time out to be with me today. I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. My pleasure, Steve.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Bye-bye, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.